Have you ever noticed how strange your mood can be? One moment you're fine, the next you feel drained, disconnected, or just off. Nothing bad happened. Nobody upset you. Yet somehow everything feels heavier than it should. You grab your phone, you scroll, you watch videos, you look for something that will make you feel better, but nothing seems to work. So why does this happen? And more importantly, can you change it quickly? The answer is yes. In fact, there are simple mental shortcuts that can shift your emotional state in less than a minute. Today, I'll share 3 powerful techniques that help your brain break out of negative patterns fast. The first one changes how your brain reads your body. The second interrupts emotional overload. And the third may be the fastest way to create a burst of motivation and positive energy on demand. Make sure you stay until the end, because the final technique is the one most people never discover. Let's begin. Trick number 1. Change the signal. Most people believe emotions start in the mind, but that's only part of the story. Your brain is constantly gathering information from your body. It pays attention to your posture, your breathing, your muscle tension, even your facial expression. Think about how you look when you're stressed. Your shoulders tighten, your jaw clenches, your eyebrows pull together. Without realizing it, you're sending your brain a message that something is wrong. Now try the opposite. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, lift your chest slightly, let your face soften. Hold that position for a few seconds. What you're doing is changing the information your brain receives. Your nervous system begins interpreting these signals as signs of safety rather than danger. And when your brain senses safety, stress starts to decrease. This doesn't magically solve your problems, but it changes the emotional environment inside your mind. Many people wait until they feel better before changing their body language. The reality is often the reverse. Move differently first, feel differently second. That's the power of changing the signal. But what if your mind keeps racing anyway? Let's move to the second technique. Trick number 2. Step outside the emotion. Imagine you're caught in a thunderstorm. The wind is strong. The rain is pouring. Everything feels chaotic. That's what intense emotions can feel like. The problem is that many people become completely absorbed by those emotions. Instead of saying, "I'm experiencing anxiety," they unconsciously say, "I am anxious." Instead of "I'm experiencing frustration," they become the frustration itself. Here's a simple shift. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and describe the feeling in one sentence. Say, "There's stress here. There's frustration here. There's disappointment here." Notice the difference. You're no longer inside the emotion. You're observing it. This tiny change creates psychological distance. And when distance appears, emotional intensity often begins to shrink. The feeling may still exist, but it loses some of its control over you. It's like watching waves from the shore instead of being tossed around in the ocean. You don't need to fix the feeling. You don't need to argue with it. You only need to recognize it. Awareness interrupts automatic reactions, and that's where real emotional control begins. Now let's move to the final technique. This one is my favorite because it creates momentum almost instantly. Trick number 3. Create a tiny victory. Most people think happiness arrives after big achievements, after the promotion, after reaching a goal, after everything finally goes their way. But your brain doesn't only respond to major wins, it also responds to progress, even tiny progress. In fact, one small accomplishment can create a noticeable shift in your mental state. Here's what to do. Choose a task that takes less than 15 seconds. Take a sip of water. Organize one item on your desk. Stand up and stretch. Write down one important task. Send that message you've been postponing. Anything simple. Now complete it immediately. That's your tiny victory. Why does this work? Because your brain loves evidence that you're moving forward. The moment you complete an action, your brain receives proof that progress is happening. And progress generates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. Motivation makes the next action easier. This is why waiting for motivation often fails. Action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. One tiny win can start a chain reaction, and sometimes that's all you need to change the direction of your day. Bringing it all together. The next time you feel stuck, remember these 3 steps. First, change the signal. Relax your body and communicate safety to your brain. Second, step outside the emotion. Notice what you're feeling without becoming it. Third, create a tiny victory. Take one small action that proves you're moving forward. These techniques won't eliminate every problem in your life, but they can change how your brain responds to those problems. And often that's enough to completely shift your experience. Here's the truth. Feeling better isn't always about changing your circumstances. Sometimes it's about changing the signals your brain receives. The tools are already available to you. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need endless motivation. And you don't need to wait for happiness to appear. The next time your mood drops, remember, a calmer mind may be only one small action away.